looking at as well. A lot of strong burst damage means that if you can ever get a very well timed off Feather Storm, the peel and the turnaround damage could potentially be huge.
And the safety that you have there is so big. The spacing that you already have drafted for EDG is going to be monstrous. And I really actually appreciate Fofo's Jace. Also with the Maokai combo, you're, again, so oppressive around the objectives every single time you're approaching them. And you actually don't mind if the enemy team is trying to take it first, right? You actually prefer to be the one that come out of the fog of war. So interesting now that we're getting the support focus here. Don't want to give any roams available to Mako, but also trying to take some of these big heavy picks off that Lulu and the Rakan themselves.
Yeah, you want to try and hamstring the 2v2 now, don't you? Because the mid jungle is, you know, one that's going to be a little bit irritating to deal with outside of lane. I think for RNG, we mentioned how, you know, EDG on the opposite end want to play this very constrictive and suffocative style of League of Legends. I think RNG have a very strong combination and comp right now to actually break that apart, right? We spoke about wanting to try and upset the tempo early on to make EDG have to kind of sweat a little bit in the early game, and I think champions like Annie and Wukong can definitely do that, obviously specifically around the level 6 mark, but Jace can be very vulnerable early on if this ends up in Fofo's hands, which we expect it to. 2 ganks, right? So I want to see RNG focus around that mid lane for now. Focusing back in on the bans, we see thresholds are taken away, so another safety net removed from the Aphelios. I wonder what EDG are going to go towards, because the support pool is quite pinched. Nautilus is basically the, you know, premier engage support still up and available, so that will get locked in for EDG. And I wonder, yeah, I was going to say, if we just get Lu Mao's Leona, but also Braum could be a very, very strong defensive option if they want it. It kind of depends on how RNG view this game right now. If they want more engage to stack on top of that Wukong Annie combination, you go the Leona. If you want a stronger lane, you go towards the Braum.
True. The Cassante is still open, though, and it's going to be picked because every time it's open, there is a possibility of it just getting locked in instantly. I also want to give a highlight to the Renekton ban. We've seen the ban rise up in priority now because we've seen ridiculous Renekton plays every time that pick hits the rip. So just crazy. Glad it's gone. That thing is insane. Also pretty good against Cassante as well, so not going to give EDG the option. We also get that Braum instead of the Leona for RNG.
Yeah, so okay, focusing in my mind a little more towards the laning phase as well. You can also stop the feathers coming out from the Xayah in the trade, so it does make the threat of the pullback a lot less threatening as EDG towards this Gwen here. And I think it just makes so much sense, right? You've got 3 very short range champions, 4 technically, when Aphelios doesn't have green gun, and I feel like there's very limited ways to actually deal with this Gwen pick. So it's got a strong lane and it's got a very strong angle into some of these team fights later on. So I like this R5 from EDG here, because now it's something that RNG consistently have to worry about. If they're not winning the game super early on through the mid jungle, or potentially winning in what should be a strong 2v2 on the bottom side, they're now going to have to contemplate dealing with a Gwen who should operate very happily into the composition that RNG are running.
And this all of a sudden turned into an Ala game. Here, I think we have some nice little scaling factors, but the fact that Gwen made it all the way through and will have an insane time on the Rift. I'm so excited to see how this kind of comp works out, especially that we have maybe a little bit more fighting given over to our top lane matchup, but all eyes for me are on the mid jungle duos. We have a lot of proactivity given to both Wei and JJ, and those pillars are going to start building up here for both teams.
Yeah, both pillars indeed. I think super important on both sides, right? JJ needs to have a good early game where he's tracking Wei and ensuring that he's not allowing Wei to attack some of these lanes. And for Wei, he needs to try and slip around JJ and some of the map control the Maokai can afford you a lot of the time, and actually impact these lanes, get the game going super early on for RNG. Not that you don't scale particularly well, it's just that I feel like EDG scale harder, so you want to try and get EDG on that uphill battle as soon as possible.
Exactly. It's going to be an intense battle here. We're hitting the Rift, and you never thought you'd ever see it in your entire life, but here we are. It is real life. It is Uzi versus RNG. It is Uzi in an EDG mask trying to take down his former organization, the organization he has known all of his international success with. Here we go into the Rift for game 1 of what will be an absolute slobber knocker as we help and celebrate the Dragon Boat Festival. I'm hoping for some fireworks, Jamada. We'll see if they can get this gank off and get first blood. We'll see the flash and a nice knockback. First blood straight to Breathe.
Yeah, that was so nice from Breathe, flashing forward there, staying inside the shroud. of Arla to ensure the knockback comes through. Arla tries his best to try and get away from it with his own flash, but unfortunately still gets hit by that Q3. Really nice from Breathe. And we said both junglers starting on the bottom side, pathing up toward the top side of the map. EDG would have been privy to this because they saw the ward get swept away. Unfortunately, not anticipating Arla, and he goes down first blood.
Not able to be put into a chokehold just yet by their early aggression. That's exactly what you want to see from RNG. We'll actually get a look back at Wave's pathing, coming all the way from the red side here onto Ala, not even expecting it.
Yeah, but look at this flash, right? Stays inside the Shroud. He's about to exit it. Q flash into the Shroud. Really, really solid from Breathe. Would have been super easy to just try and rotating into this one, Mazel. It's a 50-50.
Ooh, it's in a little bit of trouble. The Nature's Grasp comes out. The Rift Herald has gone down for the health bar. They're all out there for Breathe. It's huge, and LP has already picked up JJ. You do have that fight from Ala still going. He's trying to get over the wall, flashing. He makes it out alive by the skin of his little teeth.
Can't quite get over the mark just yet, but back at this replay, I think you called out the fact that Breathe gets the all-out so quickly, but I think this knockback is also super insane. Finding two into immediately just taking JJ out of the fight, chunks him down solo, but it also brings him into LP's firing range. Everyone's already inside the mist, so Ala not really so safe in there. Manages to make that flash. It's a bit of
They can't necessarily get all that control. They can't wrap their hands around you. So Tong Yuen maybe wanting a little bit of help here from the rest of his team. EDG will still be able to punish you, so they get one back, but that is the style you want to see from RNG if they want to continue finding advantages.
As the saying goes, Mazel, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. And I feel like if you're RNG, that is exactly what you need to be doing consistently. But right now, EDG just gave him a slip and a bit of a uppercut towards the mid lane. So Tong Yuan, seems like EDG, they're going to burst it down.
What did we say? There's a snake in the bush, so LP's got red, white, and you know what that means. They're going to be able to not even use that one chakram needed to kill JJ, and EDG just wanted to get out of there.
Wow.
And he will just get that slam down. Fofo solo bolo.
Yeah, I wonder how that even came to be honest with you. But Fofo finds himself the solo bolo. I think Tang Yuan was still chunked out from the dragon as a whole. Hadn't reset yet. Just pays for his
Tell me
greed.
though, is that a bait when somebody's backing on them, but you just have to go stop them? Like there's something in the brain that clicks. You're like, they don't know that they're on a word. I have to go mess with them.
I have to go, is the famous line as
Allah's about that.
speaking of going, Allah's going somewhere. I'm not sure where it is.
Might be to a grave, as Needleworks won't stitch you together this time. The flash might just do it. Nope. Flash from Wei ends his life.
Buy a little bit of space. They're actually going to teleport, so maybe it does give them a window for this play on the bottom side.
Yeah, a bit of a play onto Fofo, who's trying to take down Tong Yuan again before Breathe and the rest of RNG take him out. As this is a pretty heavy commit of resources, but there's really no answer besides a mid lane push from EDG right now. So Fofo buying a lot of time, but a Rift Herald maybe potentially on the upswing for EDG.
I mean, you say that, but JJ's down here taking chickens, man. He's hungry. And when you don't have ranged wave clear to actually remove that wave from the equation, now RNG again on the objective first, and EDG have to check in. But this dragon is getting bursted down so fast, it's gone.
Red-white with the chakrams makes it so. Nature's Grasp comes in. They gotta re-engage. They are just getting heavily taken down. Allah's on the flank here, but he gets immediately bursted down by LP. It's Uzi right now that is the saving grace, but there is no damage to be had as LP flashing forward and making good against the legend of the league under his team's moniker. LP will rise to the occasion and take them down. RNG with a nice old sweep of the leg of EDG.
And LP doesn't care about any of those old dogs of history. He's gonna crown himself off with a quadra kill team fight to make things even sweeter for RNG. A Baron will be picked up, and this base could very well be opened up here by Tang Yuan over in the mid lane. And I think that could be the T crossed before the I is dotted, and this game is wrapped up for the first one of the series for RNG.
6-0 stands LP against Uzi in this first game. What a way to step up, and a huge pick out engage from RNG here. They just turned straight onto Allah.
Yeah, Allah had nothing to say in that team fight. And I mean, you know, we said that potentially he could have a very good game, but it just doesn't matter. LP started off this team fight with like 5 or 6 chakrams stacked up. found an ultimate as well with the Moonlight Vigil. Look how many, he's like a blender right now. Gets hooked in by Mako, and that kind of signs off his own Death Warrant as, unfortunately, when he's in all out, Brief can go over the walls for Uzi, and that very well could have easily been a pentakill cleanup for LP. Finds 4 anyway. Now RNG have full control.
Top laner sees ADC, top laner kills ADC. That's what I know, all right? That's a constant.
Yeah.
Feels ADC, man. RNG are looking at the bottom side, though. They will be taking out another inhib tower, should be at least, as they still have 2 minutes on a Baron, and that is the death knell right now of EDG. They are just trying to get something with Fofo in the side lane. They have to defend their base or the game's just over.
Yep, base in tatters right now. Second tower on the bottom side opened up, and I mean, I think RNG are very aware of the map state right now. It's going to be a double teleport.
We see a little bit of re-engage potential here, but the Infernum is doing some work as Bree tries to go back in for the engage. Can't find it. There is an inhib to take down for RNG, but another minion wave is coming right down, Jamada.
Yeah, another minion wave on its way from the bottom side of the map. There's 2 cannons here. There'll be a third one, I'm pretty sure. So this tower will get poked down. And actually an engage. There you go.
27-minute game. There's the big combos, and the damage is there from RNG. They say, damn your narrative, damn your history, Uzi. We step up to the pace. The page has been turned as RNG in game 1 in triumphant fashion.
Gonna make easy work of EDG by the end of it. And